Good morning. We've got another good program lined up for you today. Levi Rinker from the Walking Man Project is our guest in the first hour. So, where do you hope to go with the Walking Man Project? Because some, including myself, I mean, that have not uh, been with it a great deal of time. What do you hope to accomplish with Walking Man?
Yeah. Well, it's economic stimulation. It's growth. The whole idea of the walking man is a physical embodiment of a collective unity, moving forward, bigger than life. They're 10 feet tall, strong as steel, 250 pounds. It's a massive force of humanity, the positive ideal that we all strive for, and the natural state of progression. And it's kind of designed to, well, not only for the economic stimulation and the marketing campaign behind it, but almost metaphysical cleansing, I guess, psychological empowerment for the people to kind of see an icon and no longer rely upon the industrial backbone. It's to say, hey, we've got to move forward ourselves. We've got to do what we can to see our visions you know uh, completed.
Mm-hmm.
So
So it's interesting from because how many are completed now? 20?
we've got 30 sculptures
30.
With 29 sponsors. So
Okay.
yeah.
So you're still looking for one final sponsor.
Yes, sir.
Uh, these are fabricated locally.
Oh yes, that's what's great about this is it's all pushing back into the local economy. MoFab Incorporated is a great steel fabricator there. They've helped from the start. Just from the prototype, the green one that had been traveling around the city. You guys have probably seen it around. Um, just with materials, they came and said, "Hey, we believe we like the project," and they donated everything. Max Haynes there at MoFab, he's been a champion of the project. And so, yeah, it's all money going back into the community. You've got MoFab doing all the steel and welding fabrications. Sherwin Williams here in town donating all the paints through sponsorship. And yeah, so yeah, it's all going back into the community. So yeah, economic stimulation all the way around.
Levi Rinker is my guest in the studio this morning. This is Kevin Smith. Wayne Huffman is our executive producer this morning. We'll be back in just a moment. One of the issues that we find fascinating is the issue of beautification, and I don't know what other terms
Yeah,
that you put it in, but it has to do with creating an environment that's aesthetically pleasing.
sure.
Because my theory is that, my belief is that, no one wants to go someplace that's just ugly.
Mm,
You want someplace not only to go, but also to live
yeah,
that has this beautiful quality to it.
yeah, I agree. In fact, I think you said it best there on your stump speech when you talked about three ingredients. I did my homework.
Really,
Yeah.
thank you very much.
You talked about three ingredients necessary for leadership and power and change. You said vision, leadership, and results are the backbone for you. Uh, Quoting this, vision is a gift that affords us the ability to grasp the future and bring it into our reality. You said vision sees the quality of life as a necessary component of the city. Vision isn't satisfied with things as they exist. Vision strives for better. And yeah, I think this vision for community collaborative art for the Walking Man Project really isn't anything new. You've got cities that have maximized this potential. Since '99, the Cow Parade started in Chicago.
See, that was an interesting aspect that I don't think I was
Mm-hmm.
not familiar with until I talked with you
Yeah.
in the office.
Mm-hmm.
It talks about this concept that you're working on is something that's been similar,
Yes.
employed in other
Right.
areas, and has been rather successful.
Mm-hmm. Yes, quite successful. I mean, Cal Parade, the great granddaddy, has traveled 78 cities globally now and is grazing off the profits. They've raised over millions of dollars for the NGOs, the nonprofit organizations in each town they go to. So, I mean, that's a powerful
So you don't
give
necessarily
back.
see. I mean, based on some other models, and you might explain
Sure.
a little bit more about the cow parade before
Mhm.
we move on.
Mm.
What it did and its background, and you talked about it being a traveling
Mhm.
art show, really.
Right. Yeah. Well, Cow Parade moved on, but then you also have cities that have
But the
stuck
cow
with
parade
their
was
own.
what? Because most people don't know what that
Okay.
is. What
Yeah.
was that?
It started in Chicago in '99. You had fiberglass sculptures of cows. I mean, very large, lifelike size cows, and artists painted
And
them
they were
up.
grazing.
Yeah, yeah, and
Yeah.
they just kind of stampeded through Chicago at that time. Yeah, and then
And that was a good art. That was
yeah,
just something a little different
sure.
that was done in Chicago
Mhm.
that brought people out there to look at these.
Yeah, and then you think, okay, well, Chicago's moved on. New York did it next, and then they said, hey, wait, we're the center of the art world. We need to do our own thing, and yeah, so they did "Play Me, I'm Yours" last year, 50 pianos, 50 street intersections, and again utilized the natural
Mhm.
resources there and the talent in the city. And so that's kind of where we came with Walking Man.
Levi
different.
Ranker with the Walking Man Project. This is Kevin Smith. Stay with us. We'll be back in just a moment. You know, brainstorming in this regard is really, I think, what you've seen, what you've picked up from some of these other places that you've absorbed,
Mm.
you've tasted,
Right.
you know, and those ideas and how we might incorporate them here.
Yeah. No idea is bad. That's what's great about brainstorming.
Yes.
You've got people just, spitting out ideas, coming together, and something comes around, and it's the vision is great, but then it's having the leadership, to take those ideas and actually make things happen.
Well, you know that is an important component of it.
Mhm.
I'll be honest.
Yeah.
You know, my theories about public policy and all that. You do have to have the implementation phase.
Yeah.
You
You
know,
just need that leadership
art and
to.
visual aesthetics really have they run in parallel.
Mhm.
Art, you know, for instance, and I am not a trained artist myself either.
Yep. There we go.
I might enjoy art.
Yeah.
I mean, from the creative standpoint, I haven't done it for years, but I've always fancied that aspect. But for instance, just a simple thing like a bridge.
Mm.
A bridge can either be a form of total function, which is a concrete slab, pre-poured, you know, supports across a river or a stream, and then slab sides, you know, to stop cars from going off, or somehow those sides that protect vehicular and pedestrian traffic from falling off the edge
Mm.
can be very decorative.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's a matter of what do you want to do, form and function. Well, you know, and I would advocate if you're building a bridge, then you build in the aesthetic amenities that art to it that makes it a bit more pleasing to the eye.
Yeah, of course. Of course. Well, you talk about the quality of life, and you can parallel your own life to a bridge. I mean, you can sit and have your respiratory functions just guiding you on, and as just a simple structure. But then, if you want to enhance the quality of life, you have to become, not necessarily you have to become an artist, but you have to appreciate the finer qualities of life. The littler things. I think that's step one of recognizing or growing the quality of life is just appreciation, for what we have.
And sometimes that kind of gets lost in the. We're really culturally. It's interesting to watch what we're doing politically too, because it goes into this commentary about where we're at as a culture and civilization. Levi Ranker is my guest in the studio today. If you want to learn more about Levi and his project, you can go to
thewalkingmanproject.com.
See that? Just think about that. I mean, that's so very logical. The Walking Man Project, and then throw in the .com.
And we're also on the Facebook too.
And so you can go to Walking Man on Facebook. Now, what are we going to learn at thewalkingmanproject.com?
Well, you're going to realize that this is private funded. Right?
Yeah.
This is, we're not looking at taxpayers' dollars being drained into this project. This is all supporters from the local business enterprise, from grants, from governmental grants and private grants, and in national endowments for the arts, things like this, and personal private sponsors who have come on. So that's probably one of the biggest things I want to clarify.
So, okay, now what are people going to see 6 months from now? Where are we going to be?
It's gonna
Announce it right now officially.
It's the festival.
Okay.
Starting June 1st, you're going
Alright.
to have 30 sculptures all over the town.
Okay.
If you see a sculpture, drop in one of these places and pick up a map. This map it's your passport book, if you will, is a stamp collecting contest where you'll go to each location and get a stamp. You go into the customer service desk or the local representative for whatever organization and say, hey, can I have a stamp? And they'll stamp your walking man. And then each organization is having a side marketing campaign where you can sign up to win free membership at the country club or golf gear, or come in and 50% off the buffet, or sign up to win a free child's house from CASA. So here each organization is then building up
So
potential
June
marketing.
1st,
Yeah.
these sculptures are going to be all throughout Anderson. Now,
Yes, sir.
then 12 months from now, what are we going to see?
Well, it's a 4-month exhibition.
Okay.
At the end, we hold a huge Walking Man Festival, where Meridian Street, we're lining all the sculptures up. We've got 3 stage venues for bands to play, and then we auction off the sculptures to benefit local charity. So you might see some of these sculptures going to private residents. You might see other businesses buying them back to keep permanently at their institution or their organization. And, I would love to see them become part of the Parks Department as well, to become these milestone markers as a health initiative drive of walk a mile with Walking Man, as part of a physical empowerment.
Just this issue, what I've seen where they were all together in one spot. I'm thinking, for instance, we want to draw attention. Either that was a great spot on
It's
MLK,
beautiful. Yes.
but also if think about driving up I-69, either north or south, and you're not from this area. Say you're from,
See them all out over
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
and say you saw these 29, 30 sculptures, all walking along I-69 in Anderson. Would that not be unique?
Oh, that's powerful image.
See, recognizing that that's our most heavily trafficked
Right.
thoroughfare.
Yeah.
I
I would love to see billboards up along 69 as well.
Yeah.
Once we sell all the sculptures that's
Yeah.
in our budget, is to promote this project as much as possible to, the outside commuter traffic.
See, now here's my thing on that. Columbus, Indiana, if you go down there, they've spent immense amounts of money in conjunction with NDOT for their overpasses.
Yep.
Through Columbus, just that. See, again, that function and that art, that
Well,
creativity.
yeah, you look at MoFab has done some of that ornamental ironwork on the NDOT rails as well.
See, there you go.
You've got a bridge, but with ornamental iron.
Absolutely.
You've got a conversation piece.
And so we could even do that in Anderson, Madison County. People don't, I think, consider many times that I-69 really runs through Anderson, and that is an artery. That is a roadway through our city. So anything that draws
like it.
attention
No, it's
there,
beautiful.
I just a point of thought.
And I'd be happy to do that. We just need the sponsors to come on and support that kind of initiative.
And then there's a right-of-way issue too, is my assumption. I mean, where you're going to plant them. There's concrete base pad to
Yes. Thank you to W.R. Duncan and Son, MK Betts Engineering and Contractors. They've donated some of their resources and manpower and time for building these concrete slabs. So yeah, each sculpture will be embedded or bolted down, to the to the
Now,
base.
how is it easy to move these around? Because we've talked about portability a little bit, really.
We've got a all-terrain pallet jack mover, right? So you can pump up
All-terrain pallet jack mover.
New product. If you're into shipping and handling, you see this object and your jaw drops. So it's a beautiful piece, so you can go on land and sea and air, but over gravel and stuff to carry heavy loads such as this. So a forklift and the ATV pallet truck. So
And that's how you put them down then.
Yep.
How long does it take to move those around? I mean,
for the Walking Manifest, the photo shoot we did out on the Brown Grounds
Right.
from the old Plant One, that took a good whole day just to move 16 sculptures, and
that's about half of where you're going to be.
Yeah.
With the total of. So you're talking about a couple days.
Yeah, and volunteers, right? If you're looking to get involved, we'd love to have you on. Yeah, we've got
And
plenty of
it's
room.
more than just having a pickup truck out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we need a trailer.
There you go. Levi Rinker, thewalkingmanproject.com. You can learn more. Levi, thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Isn't it amazing how fast an hour goes?
Hey,
Really.
I loved it.
Rob Sparks is coming up at hour number 2, hour number 3, probably another Kevin Smith Reports free-for-all.
Corporation for Economic Development there, right?
Stay with us. We'll be back.